has. So yeah, so I'm just going to take you through steps. It's a super simple app, so yeah. So this is the login page. So every local advisor will have their own login, because it connects to your CRM. I think most of you are on CharityLog, which is good. Those that aren't, we would provide you with a admin panel that you can log into. So yeah, we'll provide you with, it's usually going to be your email address, and we'll set you up with a password, and then you would log in, and you would see your client homepage start off with. So this, for example, is Alice Stepford's homepage. She has 6 clients in at the moment. On this page, you've got the ability to add new clients. So that's only possible if you don't have CharityLog integrated. So you're able to add clients into Steps via Steps itself, rather than if you have CharityLog, you have to do it in CharityLog and then refer them in. So if you have CharityLog, you won't actually see that, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. You also have the ability to lock the Steps app, so clicking on this locks it. So for example, if you're seeing 10 clients in the day or 5 clients in the day, you would be able to lock them between each client as you go off to visit the other one, rather than just keeping the app open. So the reason we've done that is because obviously it's got lots of personal detail in there. We would advise you to lock it just in case you lose the iPad. So I'm just going to quickly type in the password again.
And this works from Wi-Fi?
Yeah, so in order to log in, you have to be connected to a Wi-Fi connection. And once you log in, you can leave Wi-Fi and continue using the app. So for example, locking Steps and going back into it, as I've just done, doesn't need a Wi-Fi connection. It's just the first login into Steps that needs you to be on a Wi-Fi connection. I don't think there's anything else on this page. At the top you can see a green bar that says last upload was 2 minutes ago. So there's an automatic synchronization that happens after every change you make, once, if you're on Wi-Fi. So yeah, you wouldn't need to worry about that. And if you do need to force any data uploads, you would see a button or a hyperlink in the right-hand corner saying upload now, or try again, or sync with CharityLog. So I can potentially show you that later when I haven't uploaded any data. So for this example, I'm going to click into Christine Smith. So she's my first client. And what you'll see is when you click onto a client name, it will take you to this conversation panel. And basically, the goal here is to go and visit Christine in her house, or talk to Christine and allow her to just to start speaking. So these are the 6 key topics that we have. And for example, she might start talking about managing better her finances. So I would potentially click on money at the time that she's talking, and managing bills, for example. And what this does is, under each topic, so you have the 6 down here: at home, safety, money, big life changes, socialising and well-being, and health. Under each of those key topic areas, you have a list of prompts. And these are the blue buttons that you can see me scrolling up and down. Within each prompt, there is actions, and these will be specific to your local Age UK. It's very, last time we did this, 90%, 95% of the actions were the same across the board. So there might be some small tweaks specifically for you guys. So as you're in the conversation with Christine, and she's asking, she's talking to you about wanting to better manage her finances, you would have these lists of actions to choose from. So in this example, I would probably say provide support on understanding bills as an action. I would click on this, and you would see this overlay pop up, and it would confirm what the action is, where it sits, so within money and then within managing bills. And who the action was for. So that's the status of the action, and you get to choose between Christine or Age UK. So choosing Christine means it could be Christine, or it could be her husband or her daughter, etc. And choosing Age UK could just mean it could be you, or it could be a volunteer. It's just making the separation clear on the action plan, which I'll show you later on. So for this example, I'm going to click on Action for Age UK. And I'm going to set a target date of next Friday. There is an ability to add a note on here. So I might say specifically, oh God, if I can spell it, specifically wants help on her British gas bill, understanding British gas bill. So it gives me context and a bit of a reminder later on why I've added the action note. So then I'd click Add on Action. Action saved successfully. And as you'll see, once it finishes uploading data, there you go, data uploaded successfully. So as you'll see, the button changes and it changes to Action Added and View Action. So what that does is if you click on that, you would go to the action plan. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to kind of go through, I'll probably select another prompt. So worried about money, provide more money in your pocket guide, for example. So I'll do this again as an action for AGK. I'll click the same date. For this example, I won't include a note. I'll just click Add to Action. And we can upload the data. So if you are talking to Christine and, for example, you can't see an action in the list, under each prompt there is this blue button at the very bottom of the list that says can't see what you're looking for, create a new action. So I might actually move away from money and click on home security and create a new action. And this basically just allows you the flexibility to type in anything you want. So I might just type in test for now. I'll select the action for Christine, give it the same date, and then add to action plan. And that will basically come up with a note saying your custom action has been successfully created, and it will upload the data to the database and also to the action plan. So once you've done that, and once you've gone through, you know, your first or your third or fifth conversation with Christine, you would have gone through the topics relevant to have the conversation and clicked on the actions relevant that you feel would be needed. And then you'd click on this button that says Action Plan. And basically what this is it compiles all the actions you've selected into this one view that you can kind of scroll up and down, and you'll see it's organised by the target date, so the soonest that needs to be completed. So Friday the 28th down to Friday the 4th of August. And what you can do here is you can edit each action. So for example, if I edit test, you can click this blue button and it will allow you to change the status of the action as well as change the name if it's a custom action and the target date, and you can add some notes as well. So for this example, I might just add a test 1 note to show you that below it would save the action underneath the action itself. So, and then you can see I've just updated it test X1. So you can do that for any of the actions, and that functionality is available for any of them. What you can also do, which is quite handy, is if you've met with Christine and you've had a conversation with her, and you see her next week, you could potentially go through this action plan and tick off the things that have been completed. So, for example, I might change this one, test XYZ, to completed. And what that does is it removes it from that action plan view, so you won't actually see it anymore on this list once it's uploaded. So you won't actually, so unless these pop-ups will only appear if you're connected to Wi-Fi in the client's home. If you're not, then you won't actually see it. You'll see it once you've connected to Wi-Fi, so that's why it keeps popping up after every change.
But it saves everything, doesn't it?
So then you
can upload it all at the end.
You can upload it all once you've got Wi-Fi. So the automatic sync happens after every single change that you make, which is why you see it every time I make an update. But yeah, going back to the completed actions, so you'll notice that that test XYZ has disappeared, but there's a checkbox here that says show completed actions, and if you tick that, you'll see all the actions that have been completed appear back into the action plan, which is quite handy. It just means that rather than having a full list of all the potentially completed actions, you might not want to see that in the action plan. It might be quite a long list after 12 weeks. So you have that ability to hide and view. Also on this action plan, you have the ability to remove actions. So you'd have to click into the blue button again, the blue edit button, and click on remove from action plan. So we'd only advise you do this if you actually, the action is no longer required. So if you've got the ability, so for example, if the action is being completed, we would say change the status, not actually delete it. So once you remove an action, it's removed, forever, and you won't be able to get it back. So I'd only use this functionality if it's no longer a required action. So are you sure you want to remove this action? So I'm going to say no for this example, and click out. There's also the ability to add a new custom action from this page as well. So I showed you that briefly on the conversation section. And here it's just choosing the key action topic. So it might be socialising and well-being, clicking on a prompt, so potentially social clubs, and then giving the action a name. So attend tennis club, for example, out in Wimbledon.
Very topical, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting training for next year.
Yeah, and again, you might want to add a note, you might not want to add a note. You'd have to select the status and the target date as their mandatory fields, and then you would add to action plan.
Great, and that will also upload to Charity Log or...
Yeah, that would also upload to Charity Log. So you see it there, attend tennis club. And that would just sit in the action plan and wherever it is based on the target date. You've also got an ability to email this action plan as a PDF. So what you would do here is you'd click this email button. You can only do this on when you have Wi-Fi. If you don't have Wi-Fi, the email button will be greyed out, and in brackets it will say email no Wi-Fi. So you can only do this if you've got connection. But what it does is it brings up this pop-up box, and you can type in an email address. So if I just do a@b.com, if you wanted to type in another one, it would just be using the semicolon. So c@d.com, and then you can literally do as many email addresses as you want, as long as you just separate it by semicolons. It would fire it off to those email addresses. And what would be in that email is a message saying, please find attached the action plan PDF for Christine, and then some other content in there. I don't remember off the top of my head. But I'm going to click cancel on that for now. So that's mainly the action plan. There's a hyperlink in here, which, so for example, if I show you at the top, where it says money advice, that basically just shows you where that action sits. So if you click on that money advice, it would literally take you to the conversation place where it says money advice, where you first initially selected that action. So I think that's everything on the action plan page. You've also got a profile section. So I mentioned this earlier. This profile section is editable for those that don't have Charity Log, but if you are connected to Charity Log, then you will see a lot of this greyed out. So I think what's updatable, if that's a word, is the goals, which is this section. Christine's goal is to manage her key finances, and also her known as name. So you can update that to say Chrissy. Everything else, if you have Charity Log, is greyed out. As you can see in this example, this advisor doesn't have Charity Log synchronization, so they are able to edit as much as, well, basically everything that they want and save the client. There's also a notes section, so this just allows you to type in your personal notes to give you context around the client themselves. So for example, here last week I added that her husband's just died, she's concerned about many debts. She's not sure what she wants. So that's not necessarily something that I might want to show Christine. It's just for me to remember who Christine is. I mean, if I'm seeing 6 clients a day, that's really useful for me.
And those notes can also go on the Charity Log.
I'm not sure if these notes can.
Right, okay.
I'll have to check.
Right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, I'm like 90% sure they can, but I just need to confirm where they sit.
Sure.
And then the last section is the outcomes measurement section, and this is basically showing either WhenWebs or UCLA, and it's basically just using the scale and using it in a digital format. So you'll have various numbers of assessments. They'll all be the same, but for example, where it says first assess, second assess, third assess, that just means that could just be the different intervals to do the assessment. So that could be January, February, March, or 1, 2, 3. It really depends on what you want. But as you can see for the example, the first assess, it's all completely greyed out because it's been submitted, whereas the second assessed hasn't been submitted. So what you do is you just go through using the radio buttons and you'd click the correct score for your client. You'll notice that there's a submit score button in the bottom right hand corner. I'm not sure if you can see in the screen share because there's a massive trial button in front of it, but it's greyed out and it doesn't allow you to click onto it unless you completely fill out WhenWebs, and then it turns into a kind of a darker pink. So it's mandatory to fill all the fields in. You'd click submit score and you'd have this pop up saying submit, and it basically is just confirmation because once you've submitted it you can't go back and edit it. So for this example I'm going to say no, just because I'm running out of editable WhenWebs to show in training sessions. Yeah, and that can either be WhenWebs or UCLA.
And that data is then updated to a spreadsheet?
That data, yeah, so that data is updated to a spreadsheet and it's accessible via an admin panel. So you'll all get some logins for that as well. And that basically just allows you to export this data, your scores, your client data as well, and yeah, so on,
right,
in different spreadsheets. And I think that's everything. I think, yeah, I mean, up here it says Christine Smith. Christine's key goal is to manage her finances. That show more just takes you to the client profile page where you can update that. So if I type in XYZ again and say client, it will do this update thing. Yeah, updating data. Perfect. And then you'll see, UC XYZ. So that's just having the key goals constantly throughout the conversation so that you can remember what Christine's key goals are. I think that's everything.
If we go back to the profile,
yeah, sure.
Sorry, not profile, the list of clients.
List of clients.
There's the little numbers there.
Yes.
What do they indicate?
I always forget this one. So the numbers indicate the amount of actions you have left for that client. So if we go into Christine, you can see there's 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they're the outstanding actions. These don't include completed actions. If you go into Max, he shouldn't have any. And when he doesn't have any, they turn green. So it's like, yay, good for Max. Yeah, he's got no actions. So yeah, I guess that's a nice indicator to see what's outstanding.
See he's got things outstanding and he hasn't. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, and then finally, when you're done for the day, you can log out. And again, it will prompt you saying, "Are you sure you're ready to log out, Alice?" You know, you'll need a Wi-Fi connection to log back in. So I'm not going to log out.
And you each need your individual login to use the app on the device, don't you? It's not like anyone can pick it up and use it.
No, so it will be password protected. The app itself, sorry, the iPad itself will be password protected. Only your logins will see your specific client, so you can't, you won't log in and see a colleague's clients, for example. You'd have to refer them to one person only. I think that's everything.
Great. Okay, so that was a bit of a quick tour through the app. Like Esme says, it's hopefully fairly straightforward for people. I think it's one of those things that once you can pick it up yourself and play around with it, then it really starts to make sense to you. Just if you've got any questions, if you want to type them into the where it says type message here on your screen, and we'll give people a few minutes just to type in anything they might want to ask. We're also happy to receive feedback from people, so having seen it, it'd be great to know your thoughts and how you feel you might be able to use it in the course of conversations that you're having already. So we'll just see